Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the Infinity Midwife with you guys. Hope y'all are doing good. Now, if y'all haven't checked out the other videos, I strongly suggest that you go back and check them out before jumping into this video. Now, in the previous videos, I was talking about how, when two people have unhealed wounds and they come together and they have not set solid foundation, most likely the couple will go through a lot of difficult times because, again, after the honeymoon phase, there's a lot of, wounds that's going to come, that's going to come to the surface. And if one is not willing to deal with it, well, then, it's just a matter of time before, everybody goes their separate ways, which I feel like is what happened with both my parents. Now, because we were born in an environment where there was, I would say, not that much love. There was maybe lust, a lot of surface, feelings about, two people coming together, and there was a lot of expectations. So I don't feel that there was genuine love because, like I said in a previous video, my parents did come together really quick, and they ended up having 4 children in the span of 7 years, which I think is not quite enough in order to really get to know someone and build a strong, solid foundation, if we are looking for longevity and sustainability in a couple, right? So when I came into this world, there's a story about my mom. She always tells me when I came into this world, the nurse that was at the hospital wanted to take me away. She was from a Vietnamese background, and she was really adamant about taking me away from my mother. She wanted to, like she was saying, like, I'll keep your child for a couple of days, and my mom was like, no, absolutely not. But that woman, that Asian woman, was really insisting, and my mom's, she did relate the story to me quite a few times of how, how insisting that Asian woman was. And now that in hindsight, when I think about it, that woman had seen something, and probably she was trying to be protective or trying to protect me from whatever it is that was coming to unfold in my life. But you know what? What is destined to be is destined to be. What is fated to be is fated to be. And so, there was nothing that was going to stop me from going, from living whatever it is I needed to live, in order to become the person that I am today. And so, the first few years of my life, from what I remember, my dad was quite absent out of the home. He was mostly traveling in and out of the house. And my mom, she was really much at home with us. And there was a lot of people in our household. It was not, my mom was not the type to be a stay-at-home mom. From what I remember, she was still studying. She had a lot of friends. She was in and out of the house. Like, she was not always there with us, because of her studies. But also, I feel like she was a real, like, socialite, she was throwing parties sometimes, and she was really ambitious. She was more like of an entrepreneur type of thing. So I feel like growing up, we were a lot around a lot of people all the time, and my mom happened to delegate us to quite a few people. When she had her things to do, there would be, a certain auntie or certain cousin or certain this or certain that. And I remember I did go through some sexual trauma at a very early stage of my life, around 3 years old, all the way, I believe, to 8 years old. So it was continuous trauma, continuous molestation that happened, where this man was, well, he was really close with my mom's, and he would come to the house, and he would babysit us. And then at some point, we started sleeping over at his house. He was not married. He didn't have any other children. So we would be there sometimes over the weekends. We would go there Friday night and Saturday, and Sunday we would go home. And he was really, really close. He was a close friend in the family. And my dad was not really around because he had his business going on. So that man really took advantage of us, like molesting us. Like there are some factors, when I think about them, like loud sound, loud noise is something that really irritates me. I like complete silence in my natural state. And I feel like it comes from that place, of terror, of helplessness. Sometimes I even tap into some songs that were really popular back in that time, and they really bring me in this place of hopelessness. Like you feel like you're caged or you're trapped in a house. You're pretty, like, imagine being a kid, like 4, 5, 6 years old, and you're in this house, and you know that something in this house is off, and you can't quite really know what it is, but you just know it's off. And then you have these songs that are very, like, when I think about it, those songs are really, really nostalgic to me today, because they really did bring me back to a place where I felt really helpless. Like I felt like I was abandoned. I was given to the devil, and nobody was there to protect me. Nobody was there to interfere, to question. And it took some time before, my dad starts being more present in the household, and then questioning, my mom's motivations, my mom's whereabouts, why are the children sleeping over at this and such and such. It took a while before my dad starts, pulling us back from that environment. And it took also that his family had to be had started to become a little bit inquisitive as to why, your 2 daughters are spending some weekends over at this man's house, who's not married and who doesn't have any children. And then, people started picking up on, maybe, we need to pull back from that situation. And little did you know, my dad started, questioning my mom's about it. I do, I don't want to push that element, but I have this strong feeling that part of the separation was my mom's was being confronted. My mom was strongly being confronted by my dad about, the whereabouts of where do you leave our daughters, and who is this trustworthy friend to who you're leaving our daughters with. You know what I'm saying? So I think that from that point, she just decided to ghost, because she did not want to be confronted on that subject. She did not want to take the guilt, or she did not want to take the blame. So I feel like, honestly, she ghosted him, because things started to be, a little heated, And then I have several memories of, like my dad's family stepping in when, we started being like around 8, 9 years old. We started seeing other cousins that weren't really there. We started seeing other people that weren't really in our lives. Like I felt like under my mom's care, there was not that much adult supervision. It was my mom, my mom sending us to this place or to that place, and whoever was there, the adult was there. It was good. You know what I'm saying? Like there was not so much investigation as to who we were staying with or who was babysitting us. It was just, take care of my daughters, I'll be back, and that's it. So I feel like that trauma was something, like, first of all, as a child, when you go through these type of things, you don't know what is normal and what is not normal, right? Like, you can be going through the worst of things, worst of treatments, and you will normalize it because you are a child. Child will do that, will adapt to their situations. They will try to make sense of things. They will normalize it. They will internalize it. And I feel like I did that. Like, I normalized that this relationship or whatever have you with this man that was supposed to care for us and supervise us was normal. That whatever he was doing under the sun or under the moon, it was normal. So I started developing that sense of, you know, if I can be available like that to anyone, then, you know, that must mean that I'm doing the right thing, and then this person's gonna, you know, care for me or supervise me, or, you know, is gonna love me, right? So all these beliefs that are being implanted in a child that is going through sexual trauma at a very young age, especially at a very, very beginning stages of their lives, it's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. I don't care what nobody says, you know. And because we are from African descent, from an African background, I feel like a lot of sexual trauma goes unnoticed, goes silent, because people don't want to deal with it. First of all, they like the status quo. They don't want to be doing the blame game. You know, they don't want to take responsibility for it. And anyways, it's children. They might invent it, or they might not even remember. So what's the use? I feel like that's the popular culture when it comes to those type of you know, discussions and those types of situations that are very prevalent, but goes really, like, they go silent. Nobody takes up for it. Nobody says nothing. Everything is just laying down, you know, in the shadow, and then, you know, you don't have to question anything. And anyways, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna forget about it, and you're just gonna go about your life. I feel that's what happened in our situation, because first of all, when you are going through these type of things, most of the time, you know, there are many ways that a child will deal with it. Okay, some children will deal with it, and you know, they will have this other type of behavior to counteract it, you know, or to try to hide it. Some other individuals are not going to be able to hide it. They're going to fully embrace it, and in turn, they're going to become the product of whatever that was being done to them. In my situation, I felt like I hid it, so much so that I dissociated from it. I dissociated from the event, you know. And so when I dissociated from it, I felt like, you know, there was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of things in your environment that went up against it, that went up against that truth, because it was too painful to deal with it. So people just would shut up, you know. They would look at us a certain way. They would observe us. They would judge us, but nobody would step up and say, listen, we need to do something about this, or we need to address this man. We need to speak up. We need to say something. And I feel like a lot of things went unnoticed. Okay, you guys, that was my story. I want to know if, you know, you've been going through something that dates back to childhood. If it's something you want to talk about, if it's something you want to reflect on, how was it dealt with in your environment? Did the parents step up? Did the neighbors step up? Was it something that was resolved? Did it go unresolved? Is it something that you carried as a burden up till today? These are the things we need to have. These are the reflections we need to be having. Okay, because it needs to end with us. I feel like, you know, our older generation of parents, they did not know how to deal with it, or they wouldn't even deal with it. But I feel like, you know, us younger generations, we need to be able to be more aware, more awakened, and be more willing to address these type of situations, because it needs to stop with us. We should not want to carry those type of traumas onto our children. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm speaking up. That is why I'm sharing my story. Okay, guys? So I'm going to leave it here under 15 minutes. Share it. Speak about it. Reflect on it. We will be back in the next video, guys. Have a good night, y'all. Stay safe. Stay well. Peace.